There are more important things than living, and that's saving this country for my children and my grandchildren and saving this country for all of us.
That was Texas Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick, who apparently hasn't received enough backlash after the first time he encouraged people to risk their lives in order to reopen the economy. During his recent interview with Tucker Carlson, he doubled down, arguing that he was absolutely right, that your life is worth risking so his stock portfolio will look real good. Take a look.
On this, and I'm thankful that we are now, Tucker, finally beginning to open up Texas and other states because it's been long overdue. You know, they told us, Tucker, to follow the science. Well, what science? I mean, at the end of January, Dr. Fauci, who I have great respect for, said this wasn't a big issue. 3 weeks later, we were going to lose 2 million people. Another few weeks later, it was 1 to 200,000. Now it's under 60,000. And we've had the wrong numbers, the wrong science. And I don't blame them. But let's face reality of where we are. In Texas, we have 29 million people. We've lost 495, and every life is valuable. But 500 people out of 29 million, and we're locked down, and we're crushing the average worker. We're crushing small business. We're crushing the markets. We're crushing this country. And what I said when I was with you that night, there are more important things than living. And that's saving this country for my children and my grandchildren and saving this country for all of us. And I don't want to die. Nobody wants to die. But, man, we got to take some risk and get back in the game and get this country back up and running.
So I always want to respond to these types of arguments with, you should lead by example. So if he genuinely thinks that there are things in life that are more important than life itself, then, I mean, go out there, right? Like, go out there, like, rub up against people, go lick some, like, crosswalk buttons. You know what I mean? Like, show us that it's okay to go out there and, like, literally risk your life just so people can make money, right? And, like, everything that he said there was a lie. And the reason why it's a lie is because Texas does not have widespread testing available. So he doesn't have a handle. He has no idea in regard to how many people have coronavirus. They're unable to track people appropriately. We still don't have a vaccine. So, like, he talks about it as if he's the expert, as if he knows more than the scientists, than the healthcare experts, more than Anthony Fauci. But he doesn't know how many people have coronavirus in his own state. He just wants people to get back to work because in his mind, right, losing your life means nothing. He's not going to risk his life, but you going out there, working again, getting the economy fired up again, means that he's not going to have to worry about any, again, losses in his stock portfolio, any issues with the economy, even though, as we've explained a million times before, Cenk, long term, this is a disastrous idea. It's just going to make this virus drag out longer than it needs to.
I have maybe a slightly more productive suggestion than your idea of licking different traffic signs.
I just want him to lead by example. That's all.
He could actually go and volunteer at hospitals. And I know a lot of the hospitals don't have testing for the people who are staff there. We told you the story of a hospital in Ohio where none of the staff are allowed to be tested. But, you know, Texas doesn't have a lot of tests either. But that's okay, because Dan Patrick says, you know, the stock market's more important than his life. So he could be helping people. That's, I mean, it's not just spiteful. He could lead by example and help folks. Now, look, let's get to the substance of his comments. One, he says, you know, what science? Well, the science that told us that social distancing would work, and it has. So it has led to a lower number of deaths, exactly as the scientists said. Now he's saying, goddamn scientists, I can't believe they were right about social distancing. Forget it. Let's not listen to the scientists anymore. I mean, there's this great, great irony that the more we listen to the scientists, less people die. And the less people die, the more angry conservatives get at scientists and say, I thought the number was going to be bigger. We should have never listened to these scientists. Well, if we had not listened to the scientists as you wanted, trust me, the number would have been a lot bigger. I mean, let's look at the number as it stands today. So now we have more than 813,000 cases in America. Again, we lead the world. I think the next 3 or 4 countries combined don't have as many cases as we do. And then we just passed 45,000 deaths. That's 15 9/11s. And Dan Patrick goes on Fox News to say, you see, I told you it was no big deal. Only 15 9/11 worth of dead people in America. So let's reopen the markets. Let's reopen businesses. And implicit in all this is when he says, and this is an amazing quote. You saw it in the video, but it's worth repeating. There are more important things than living. Well, first of all, that seems counterintuitive. Okay. Second of all, what? Okay, then what? What's more important than living? And I get it if you say, hey, I'm going to sacrifice myself for my fellow soldiers and their 3 lives are more important than my 1 life. Hey, I'm going to sacrifice myself for my grandchildren. I'm going to, throw myself on a hand grenade. I get it, right? But I'm going to throw myself on a hand grenade so that the stock market can go up 11%. Yeah, I don't know about that. And second of all, what Dan Patrick is actually saying is, no, not my life. The stock market is more important than your life.
So I want to be clear about something. Every time one of these mouth-breathing Republicans argues that they're pro-life and they want to ban any form of abortion, even in the first trimester, I just want all of you watching this to cite what Dan Patrick said, right? There are more important things than living, right? Because he doesn't actually value life. He doesn't value the lives of others. He puts profit over actual human lives. Now, in the case of abortion, we've talked about this a million times before. I don't agree that a non-viable fetus is the same as a living, breathing human. But they claim that they care about all forms of life, including zygotes, right? But they only cite that when it's convenient for them, when they're trying to win political brownie points with their base or with their constituents. The truth is they don't actually value life. They only pretend to when it's convenient for them to do so. And I want to go back to the testing issue because Texas is one of the states that really does lag in the number of tests per capita. So the COVID tracking project has broken down the numbers even, specifically by state. And if you look at Texas specifically, they're testing 6.6 people, or they're administering 6.6 tests per 1,000 individuals, right? 1,000 people. And if you want to compare that to a state that's actually doing better in widespread testing, you can look at New York, where they're doing 32.4 tests per 1,000 people. So Texas is far behind. They don't really have a sense of how widespread this virus is. They don't know how many people have it. And as we know, you can be completely asymptomatic with this virus and you can be spreading it like wildfire. So he's really playing with fire here in encouraging the state to open back up. And unfortunately, you have Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick, who's just as powerful as the governor in the state of Texas. And then there's the governor, Greg Abbott, who announced initial steps to reopen the Texas economy, including those that will loosen surgery restrictions at medical facilities, allow all retail stores to provide product pickups, and reopen state parks. And also keep in mind that at least 65 Texas counties as of April 13th had 5 or fewer tests administered. At least 26 of those counties had 0 tests administered. They just don't care about human lives. They just don't.
As we'll talk about later in the program, and you can always become a member to get the whole program, tyt.com/join. Kentucky now has cases flaring up because some of the protesters thought the restrictions were too much. Oops. So last thing here, Anna, you make a great point about the pro-life position. I had not thought of that. But that leads me to a second thought about it. Maybe we could prove that the pro-choice position improves the stock market by 5%. We can get all the conservatives to change their so-called pro-life position. They'd be like,
100%. 100%. Yeah, like, if you show that more abortions mean more profits for them, they'll be all for it. Seriously.
Yeah. We could end the abortion debate overnight. And it does 5%, not even need that much. Hey, your stock portfolio is going to go up by 2.5%. All the Lieutenant Governor Dan Patricks in America will be like, oh, yeah, abortion. I mean, really, what's the big deal about abortion? Is it really life anyway? It's not even viable. That's not life. Life isn't worth living anyway. Dude, maybe your life isn't worth living, but for the rest of us, we'd like to stay alive.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks. Really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.